In the deepest sense, a pull system is a system that allows many people, a team, or even a group of people to function as one. When this occurs, flow is at its ideal. Products, information, and services are all created to the beat of the customer's orders. Nothing more and nothing less. One-piece flow is the ideal. It is the absolute perfect state of flow that an organization hopes to achieve. With this in mind, you must remember that one-piece flow is not always possible right away. In addition to this, some people may not be bought in and may not yet possess the desire to pursue one-piece flow. This can be a tough culture change to make happen. So as you start your journey from lot and batch manufacturing into the world of one-piece flow, remember, the best thing that you can focus on is not instantly reducing lot sizes to one. It is, however, focusing on continuous flow of materials, information, and services, and eliminating all forms of waiting, defects, overproduction, and every other form of muda that you can reveal. This focus will make the transformation much easier, and it will help you to see more opportunities. As a reminder, there are prerequisites that will make your transition to one-piece flow much easier. Those are teaching everyone to see and remove waste, having the 5S system in place, using Kanban where necessary, and lastly, teaching and implementing quick changeover techniques. These prerequisites can drastically change an organization's ability to implement one-piece flow and reveal problems that you may have never known existed. In fact, one of the most famous quotes regarding one-piece flow comes from the book, The Toyota Way 14 Management Principles from the World's Greatest Manufacturer by Jeffrey Liker. It goes like this. Not only does one-piece flow increase productivity, but it can lead to better quality, shorter lead time, enhanced customer responsiveness, higher morale, and better safety. If that doesn't culminate the benefits of one-piece flow, consider this. Move from lot manufacturing to one-piece flow, and you will reveal more problems, more forms of waste, more waiting points, and the causes of waiting. As we start to dive into the transition into one-piece flow, you will be amazed at how many forms of waste and issues begin to rise to the surface that you never thought would have existed. We'll see you in the next module. As you begin to initiate your journey into one-piece flow, you will quickly realize that implementation of one-piece flow will not be the same for everyone. Some people will implement value stream by value stream, cell by cell, department by department, or even person by person. Keep in mind that implementation should always be from the customer's perspective. For example, from customer to final assembly, from final assembly to sub-assembly, from sub-assembly to the feeding process, from raw materials, components, and receivables to procurement. Many organizations choose to normalize one-piece flow at different points in the organization. For example, at the point of a customer order or in a final assembly line. One example might be a sandwich shop that operates in an assemble-to-order fashion. They establish supermarkets that contain the supplies to assemble the final product. When the customer orders come in, they can simply assemble the final product and meet the customer needs. This makes it much easier to build to demand and oftentimes can act as the first initial step in your transition to one-piece flow. Keep in mind that the full potential of one-piece flow cannot be realized until you travel upstream implementing single-piece flow in each area. Please also keep in mind that as a business, you still need to fulfill your customer orders and implement your pull system. Why do we mention this? Oftentimes, an organization will begin transitioning everything to one-piece flow before doing anything else. And while this can be one of the most effective ways to reveal waste, you must also manage that waste with customer demand. For example, if a line has no understanding or skill set in the area of quick changeover, and they transition to one-piece flow, that line will stand very still until quick changeover is successfully implemented, especially if you have a large number of products and product lines. One thing that you should pay close attention to is monuments. We don't want monuments in lean, just-in-time, or pull systems, not even in one-piece flow. But sometimes the transition away from monuments is very difficult to do and takes time. This can really hinder your initiation of one-piece flow. With this in mind, you may want to consider investing in smaller, more portable machinery as you implement one-piece flow. And if this is not a strategic option that you are ready for, then you may consider making your monuments mobile. You can do this by putting machines on casters, wheels, or sliders, depending on what the piece of equipment is. You will also want your people to stand as they work. This will give them the ability to move around if necessary. Remember, the transition to one-piece flow is not always an easy one. You will not hit the target on the first try. It will be a process of PDCA, planning, doing, checking, and adjusting or acting. It will take you many attempts before you reach the perfect state. Now, before we go, let's take a bit of time to stretch our minds a little bit by pondering the following question. Where would be a good place for you to try starting your one-piece flow journey? You can answer in the comments or the upcoming assignments section, and we'll see you in the next module. As you implement one-piece flow, you will encounter all sorts of things that will slow you and your team down as you work to try and create flow. One of the most challenging struggles that you will encounter is the behaviors, mindset, and culture of the many different people in an organization. Some will love the idea, and others may find moving towards a pull system and implementing a more continuous flow very difficult. In general, these struggles are often related to a lack of understanding of what is going on. As such, it can be very helpful for people if you define and lay out an example of how one-piece flow will be implemented. Even before this, though, you will need to make sure that certain conditions are present. Keep in mind that the conditions we've outlined here are general conditions that you can use to increase flow in your organization. For some of the different ideas may be more effective for others, and that is okay. We've laid out 8 conditions that you will see in this module in a checklist format. The 8 conditions are defined with the mnemonic more flow. Let's look at each condition. First, move your processes and the equipment they use in the appropriate sequence and organize them in a line or a cell. Next, operate using smaller, more accurate, and specialized equipment. Place equipment on casters, wheels, or other movable options for reorganization and flexibility when needed. Reveal one-piece flow. Then ensure that the processes meet takt time. After this, find a way for one person to run an entire line or cell alone if necessary. Multi-process handling will give a worker the ability to move from cell to cell or process to process when necessary. In addition to this, let workers train in as many processes as possible. This will empower them and give them more organization and flexibility, especially when multi-process handling is in play. Also consider operating from mobile positions. Allow workers to use mobile tools, stand and move from process to process. Even encourage it when need be. This will help solve problems and increase flow. Finally, walk the Gemba daily. This will allow you to find opportunities to remove bottlenecks. This checklist can be a simple way to check and make sure each of the items are happening, as well as creating more flow. We'll see you in the next module. As we've mentioned in other modules, having an example to implement one-piece flow can be helpful. Having a model can sometimes be even more helpful. In this module, we will introduce 8 steps that will help you implement one-piece flow. Let's get started. Step 1 is offer everyone information about the change. Teach everyone the fundamentals of lean manufacturing, just-in-time, pull systems, waste removal, and every other continuous improvement principle you can think of. We strongly suggest having multiple 5S events to gain excitement. Step 2 is to normalize your preparation. Walk the Gemba first, then analyze your value stream with tools like a current state value stream map or even a process map. Begin to put wheels, sliders, casters, or other tools to make your equipment mobile on. One more thing to do in your preparation is to select a line, cell, or value stream to implement one-piece flow on. This will act as a benchmark for others as you work out various obstacles. Step 3 is to excite the idea of one-piece flow. Show examples of one-piece flow versus batch manufacturing. Give an overview of one-piece flow to everyone and commit to implementing one-piece flow. Next is step 4. Place equipment in sequence. Now it's time to transition from planning to doing. Start to put your equipment into a sequence according to the process flow. Then step 5, introduce cells. Begin to set up U-shaped cells in your organization. Step 6 is to begin to establish multi-process steps and operations. This is where you should really focus on cross-training, getting people mobile, and giving people the skills they need to help their organization be flexible. Step 7 is a focus on creating standards that everyone can work to. Keep things simple, concise, and understandable. Begin the process of standardization with methodologies like standards. Finally, step 8 asks us to ensure that everything is synchronized. You need to make sure that people, process, and information flow together. This and implementing techniques like level production, line balancing, Kanban, and takt time will enable you to match market demand. These 8 steps are a great place to start implementing one-piece flow and moving in the direction of a fully functional pull system. Now, before you go, let's stretch our minds a little bit by answering the following question in the comments section or your upcoming assignment section. What conditions do you feel would be the most important for you to implement in your one-piece flow journey, and why? We look forward to reading and interacting with your answers, and we'll see you in the next module.